Hello again. It's Properly Bread. I'm Chef Charlie. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to do something you probably haven't heard of, walnut sourdough. And don't adjust your monitor, that is lavender in color. Something in the pigment of the nuts, I guess. Starting off, we have 1/3 of a cup of walnuts. You need to chop these into tiny little pieces as best you can. Yes, that is a customized cutting board. Has the blueberry logo on it. I had a friend of mine make that. Thank you so much, Alan. And as our mise en place is all here, we've got everything laid out. There are only 5 ingredients in this. And here comes, initially, a cup of flour. Tap it 3 times just to get it out. And here's some sugar. That feeds the yeast. We'll tell you about that in a minute. And a bit of salt. Balances it all out. And you whisk this around until it's thoroughly combined. And eventually we'll have to have some liquid in here. What'll it be? I wonder. It's anyone's guess, but I know. Can you guess? Very good. Some water. That moistens it all up. Next, a bit of olive oil, just to keep everything happy. Need a little bit of fat in the bread for chemical reasons. That gets combined into a nice thin slurry. Then we get to add the walnuts that you chopped ever so dutifully. Thank you very much. And you stir that in. Next, we're going to have to add the starter. Now, you can buy starter in many places online. I don't recommend that. Make your own. Take 17 days and do it the right way. There are plenty of YouTube videos to show you how to do that. Once that's mixed in, use the whisk for this, and then you'll have to use the spatula because it gets too stiff to use a whisk, and you'll see what I mean in a second. This gets incorporated until it looks a bit shaggy. And there it's shaggy. Look at that. It happened so fast. And here comes another bit of flour. All told about 3½ cups. All the amounts are going to be on the blog, so look in the description for that address. And then you'll take this around a few times. Takes a little bit of muscle to keep this going. You can use a stand mixer, but I don't have one, so I do it by hand. And I kind of think it's more fun this way. Once it looks shaggy like that, you dump it out onto your very clean board. In this case, a granite countertop works just fine. And then we knead it. Quarter turn, push. Quarter turn, push. Quarter turn. I think you get the idea. Do that for about 8 minutes. Then you oil the bowl. I'd say maybe 1.5 tablespoons. I never measure it. I just pour it out of our nice Spanish olive oil container. And then you use your hand to spread it around. But now you have a problem. You've got this oily hand. What do you do with it? Get your mind out of the gutter. Of course, you knead the bread a little bit more and get that hand a little bit drier. You put a little bit more oil in the dough. It's not going to hurt anything. Then you bring the edges in and you put it in the bowl. Give it a few turns. Turn it over. Push it down a little bit. I just do that because I like the way it looks when you're done. And you cover it with plastic wrap. I've reused this several times. I hate to throw it away. And shut the lights off and leave. And we're back. Here we're going to take some cornmeal, rather coarse yellow cornmeal, and put it on my baking sheet. This stuff's really inexpensive, available just about anywhere. And you want 2 definite areas, one for each loaf. We'll cut it in a minute. And be pretty liberal with this, because you just don't want them sticking. That would be a nightmare. I suppose you could use parchment if you had that too. Now comes the fun part. Dump the risen loaf onto the counter. Doesn't look pretty now, but it will. Then you take your bench scraper and cut it in half. Flop the other out of the way. Then use your hands, the best tools God gave you, to shape it into a boule. I make mine a little bit oblong because it just seems to work better this way. You can make it round. You could put it in a pan that's shaped like a baguette if you like. And just fold the sides under and push it back and forth, and you put that on the tray. And you do the second one. Instant replay. Isn't it fun? There's that seam. I try to tuck it under just so it looks a little bit better. You go back and forth at the end. Here we go. There it goes. Plop it onto the tray. Cover it with plastic wrap. And you're done for about an hour. Turn the lights off. Thank you. Now you take a sharp knife or a razor blade and you slash. This tells the dough where to crack, or where to expand, I should say. You can see that seam on the one on the left. No problem. It just makes it that much more pretty. 3 should do it. Into the oven we go. That's going to be a 400-degree oven for about 16 minutes to start. Make sure you preheat the oven first. Then, after 16 minutes, you spray it liberally with water. Give it about 20 squirts all over the oven. Oh, I failed to mention I have a Pyrex pan of water on that second lower shelf. And when you're done spraying, bake it for 16 minutes more. And look. Wow. All that effort is so worth it. Walnut sourdough is fascinating. I remember first hearing about it in San Luis Obispo, California, where I went to college at Cal Poly, and it tastes incredible. And yes, it is lavender in color. I'm not sure what it is about the pigments in the walnuts, but that's where it comes from. You can see the texture. Delicious, crackly, and the soft inside moist and delicious. Home-baked sourdough doesn't get any better than this. Take it from me. Thanks for watching.